Announced KBTX that they have been forced to close their Highway 21 location that will begin January 27th.
That's the reality hitting Texas communities right now, as Dairy Queen confirms yet another closure on January 27th. But here's the thing, this isn't just about one restaurant shutting down. This is a story that reveals something much bigger about the American fast food industry, franchise battles, and what happens when an 85-year-old icon faces modern challenges. I'm Tony, and welcome to Behind Brand Success, where we uncover the real stories behind America's biggest brands. Today, we're diving into Dairy Queen's closure crisis, and trust me, it's way more complicated than you think. So let's start with the headline that got everyone talking. On January 27, 2026, a Dairy Queen location on Highway 21 in Bryan, Texas will permanently close its doors. Now, Bryan is about 100 miles from Houston, and this particular DQ has been serving the community for years. But here's what makes this closure different. It's not about money. It's not about bankruptcy. The reason? Road construction. That's right. The Texas Department of Transportation, or TxDOT, is working on a massive expansion project along Highway 21. We're talking about transforming a 20-mile stretch between Bryan and Madisonville, doubling the lanes from 2 to 4. It's a project that won't be finished until 2030. In their statement, Smith Dairy Queens, the franchisee operating this location, said the ongoing construction work has created a challenging situation that made continuing operations impossible. Think about it, blocked access, detoured customers, reduced visibility, months or even years of construction chaos. For a business that relies on impulse stops and convenience, it's a death sentence. The kicker? Bryan still has 3 other Dairy Queen locations that remain open. So customers aren't completely out of luck. But for the employees at that Highway 21 location, and for the regulars who've been going there for years, this closure hits different. Now, if this was just one isolated closure due to road construction, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But here's where the story gets really interesting, because this January 27th closure is just the latest chapter in what I'm calling Dairy Queen's Texas problem. Let me take you back. In February 2025, news broke that 25 Dairy Queen locations across Texas were closing. Not reducing hours. Not temporarily shutting down. Permanently closing. By April 2025, that number had jumped to 40 locations. 40 locations in one state. These closures included restaurants in Canadian, Hereford, Pflugerville, and dozens of other Texas cities. And here's what made it even more dramatic, they started auctioning off everything. I'm talking blizzard machines, grills, freezers, furniture, even the Dairy Queen signs themselves. You could go on localauctions.com and literally buy the guts of a shuttered Dairy Queen. Facebook comments from disappointed customers started flooding in. One person wrote, "I think this is sad, but honestly, Dairy Queen isn't what it used to be. It's really gone downhill." Another mentioned that the restaurants were showing serious signs of wear and tear. But were customers just being harsh, or was there something deeper going on? This is where things get absolutely wild, because those 25 to 40 closures, they weren't just random restaurants deciding to shut down. They were all owned by a single franchisee called Project Lone Star, and what happened between them and Dairy Queen corporate reads like a business thriller. Here's the timeline. In September 2024, American Dairy Queen Corporation sent Project Lone Star a notice. The message was clear: remodel your locations, or we're terminating your franchise rights. Project Lone Star operated 38 franchise locations across Texas, and corporate wanted them updated to modern standards. Now, renovating even one restaurant can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Multiply that by 38 locations, and you're looking at millions. Project Lone Star made a calculation. Instead of spending that money on renovations, they'd try to sell the franchises. Corporate gave them 30 days to find a buyer. Then they'd have 30 days to get approval. Sounds reasonable, right? Here's where it gets messy. Project Lone Star found a buyer. But there was a problem: they were behind on royalty payments to Dairy Queen. Corporate refused to approve the sale until those payments were caught up. By January 2025, Project Lone Star thought they'd finally squared things away. But corporate disputed it. More back and forth. Eventually, they agreed the royalty payments were current, but by then, the sale had fallen through anyway. Corporate wouldn't approve the transfer. On January 30th, 2025, Dairy Queen dropped the hammer. they terminated 25 franchise agreements and ordered suppliers to immediately stop shipping to the remaining locations. Project Lone Star claimed their restaurants would run out of food, beverage, and other restaurant supplies in the next 1 or 2 business days. Project Lone Star ended up suing for $4 million in damages. Meanwhile, those 25 locations, and eventually more, shut down for good. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so a franchisee and corporate had a fight. So what? But this story reveals something crucial about how these massive restaurant chains actually work. See, most people think of Dairy Queen as one big company running all these restaurants. The reality is way more complicated. About 70% of Dairy Queen's 7,800 locations worldwide are franchises. That means individual operators or companies license the Dairy Queen name and systems, but they own and run the restaurants themselves. They pay royalties to corporate, usually a percentage of sales, and in exchange, they get the brand recognition, the recipes, the marketing support. It's a relationship that requires trust on both sides. Corporate needs franchisees to maintain brand standards. If your Dairy Queen looks rundown and serves mediocre food, it hurts every Dairy Queen. Franchisees need corporate to be reasonable and supportive. If corporate makes impossible demands, franchisees can't survive. What happened with Project Lone Star shows what happens when that relationship breaks down. Corporate wanted renovations to keep the brand fresh and competitive. Project Lone Star looked at the numbers and decided it wasn't worth the investment. Both sides dug in. And in the end, customers lost their local Dairy Queens, employees lost their jobs, and both companies lost money. This isn't unique to Dairy Queen. Remember when dozens of Wendy's closed in 2024? Or when Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy? Franchise disputes are everywhere in the restaurant industry right now. But there's another challenge Dairy Queen faces that most other fast food chains don't, and it's right there in the name. They're an ice cream-focused business. Think about your own behavior. When was the last time you craved a blizzard in January? Maybe never, right? But in July when it's 95 degrees outside? You're probably hitting up DQ at least once a week. This seasonal vulnerability is brutal, especially in colder climates. A Dairy Queen in Fargo, North Dakota, for example, can crush it during the summer months when people are desperate for cold treats. But come winter, sales can drop so dramatically that some locations lose money for months straight. One notable case was DQ number 14823 in Fargo, which served customers for over 35 years before closing earlier in 2025. Despite strong summer business, 3 consecutive winters with negative cash flow finally did them in. Compare that to McDonald's or Burger King. Sure, maybe people eat slightly fewer burgers in winter, but the drop-off isn't nearly as severe. Burgers work year-round. Ice cream? Not so much. Dairy Queen has tried to address this with their grill and chill concept, adding more hot food options like burgers and chicken. Some locations even market themselves more as restaurants than ice cream shops. But the brand is still fundamentally associated with frozen treats, and that seasonal curse is hard to shake. Let's zoom out and talk about the bigger economic forces crushing restaurants right now, because Dairy Queen isn't alone in this struggle. First up, labor costs. Minimum wage increases across various states have driven payroll expenses through the roof since 2020. Many Dairy Queen locations are in smaller towns where the profit margins were already thin. Add 20 to 30% to your labor costs, and suddenly you're in the red. Then there's rent and property taxes. Commercial real estate has gotten crazy expensive, especially post-pandemic. Lease renewals are hitting franchisees with massive increases. If your building owner knows you've been there for 20 years and invested in the space, they've got you over a barrel. Supply chain chaos continues to wreak havoc on ingredient costs. Dairy products, the literal foundation of Dairy Queen, have seen significant price hikes. Sugar, chocolate, vanilla, all up. You can either absorb those costs and kill your margins, or pass them to customers and risk losing business. And here's the killer, competition has never been fiercer. You're not just competing with other ice cream shops anymore. You're competing with mobile dessert apps, ghost kitchens, grocery store ice cream sections that have gotten incredibly sophisticated, and a million other options for people's discretionary spending. Put all these pressures together, and you get what industry experts are calling the retail apocalypse, but it's really a restaurant apocalypse too. Here's what makes all these closures especially bittersweet. Dairy Queen is genuinely an American success story. It all started in 1938 when J.F. McCullough and his son Alex developed a soft-serve ice cream formula. They tested it at a friend's shop in Kankakee, Illinois, with an all-you-can-eat for 10 cents promotion. They served 1,600 people in 2 hours. The demand was insane. On June 22, 1940, they opened the first official Dairy Queen in Joliet, Illinois, along historic Route 66. A cone cost a nickel. A sundae was 8 cents. The franchise model launched in 1941 with just 10 stores. By 1947, 100 stores. By 1950, 1,446 stores. By 1955, 2,600 stores across North America. The Dilly Bar debuted in 1955. The Blizzard, their signature product, launched in 1985 and became an instant cultural phenomenon. They sold 175 million Blizzards that first year. For decades, Dairy Queen wasn't just a restaurant. It was the gathering place in small-town America. High school kids hung out there after football games. Families went for birthday celebrations. First dates happened over banana splits. Warren Buffett loved the business model so much that Berkshire Hathaway bought International Dairy Queen in 1998 for $585 million. This is a brand with deep roots in American culture, which makes every closure feel like losing a little piece of that heritage. So let's cut through the noise and get real about what's happening with Dairy Queen. First, the company as a whole is not dying. Let me repeat that, Dairy Queen is not going out of business. They still have over 7,800 locations in more than 20 countries. In Texas alone, where all these closures happened, there are still about 500 locations operating. What we're seeing is what retail analysts call portfolio optimization. Basically, weaker locations are getting cut while stronger ones continue thriving. It's painful, but it's actually a sign of strategic management, not corporate collapse. The Project Lone Star situation was, by Dairy Queen's own admission, an isolated event. One franchisee's decisions affected dozens of stores, but it doesn't reflect systemic failure. That said, the challenges are real. The restaurant industry is going through massive disruption. Consumer habits have changed dramatically. Delivery apps, remote work affecting lunch rushes, inflation hitting discretionary spending, all of this creates genuine headwinds. What Dairy Queen needs to figure out is how to evolve while staying true to what made them special. How do you modernize without losing your soul? How do you attract younger customers without alienating the loyal fans who've been coming for decades? If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or just someone interested in how companies survive, there are some valuable lessons here. Lesson 1. Brand standards matter, but so does franchisee profitability. Corporate can demand renovations all day long, but if franchisees can't make the numbers work, you don't have a partnership, you have a problem. Both sides need to be realistic. Lesson 2. Location, location, location still rules. That Highway 21 closure? Perfect example. You can have the best product in the world, but if customers can't easily access you, you're done. The road construction might be temporary, but the business damage can be permanent. Lesson 3. Seasonal businesses need year-round strategies. Dairy Queen's ongoing struggle with winter months shows you can't rely on peak season to carry you through. Diversification isn't optional. Lesson 4. Your relationship with your business partners can make or break you. The Project Lone Star legal battle cost both sides time, money, and reputation. Better communication and problem-solving early on might have saved those 40 locations. So what's the bottom line on Dairy Queen's closures? That January 27th closure in Bryan, Texas, blamed on challenging road construction, is part of a much bigger story. It's a story about franchise relationships, economic pressures, changing consumer habits, and an 85-year-old brand trying to navigate an incredibly difficult retail environment. Is Dairy Queen in trouble? Some locations? Absolutely. The brand as a whole? Not really. They're doing what businesses have always had to do, adapt, evolve, and sometimes make painful cuts to stay healthy long-term. For the communities losing their local DQs, it genuinely sucks. These aren't just restaurants, they're gathering places, job providers, and pieces of local identity. But here's what I know, brands that have survived for 85 years don't do so by accident. They survive because they learn, they adapt, and they find ways to stay relevant. Dairy Queen has weathered the Great Depression, World War II, countless economic recessions, and massive shifts in food culture. Will they figure out this current challenge? Time will tell. But I wouldn't bet against the company that turned soft-serve ice cream into an American institution. What do you think? Are these closures a sign of deeper problems, or just natural business evolution? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive valuable, smash that like button and subscribe to Behind Brand Success for more stories about the companies that shape our lives. We've got episodes on everything from retail giants to tech startups, and we always go deeper than the headlines. I'm Tony, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious.